Hey there, Luke from Flukes Kitesurfing. Welcome to today's video. Today we're going to talk about how you can walk on water part 2. So we're going to go through all of the steps on how you can either walk on water or barefoot slide kitesurfing. So it's a really fun trick and we'll go through it in depth, step by step, and also I'll give you some tips for how I finally started to land it. Originally I made a video, walk on water part 1. We made that while I was still learning how to do the trick, so there's a bit of thinking in that video, but in this video we're going to go through the exact steps on how you can do it. So to walk on water, essentially what you do is you're going along the water's surface on your board, and then you do a very small pop into your hand, so you've got a hand on the board, and then you use the kite's power to actually just help you levitate above the water for a while, and then you loop it and you ride out of it. So like I said, we're going to go through it step by step, so let's get into it. So right now I've got the wind sort of at my back, it's blowing this direction. And so we'll be tacking across the wind in this direction here. So what you want to do is basically want to be tacking at moderate speed. You can actually go really fast for this trick, but you want to be at least doing moderate speed. Kite's in the direction that you're traveling, of course. And the way I learned it was actually on my least comfortable riding stance. You can learn it either way, in either direction. You can start with your most comfortable side. I learned it in my least comfortable side, and it actually did really help me later on when I started doing some variations in the walk on water. However, for the basic walk on water that we're covering in today's video, you can really learn it on either side. So you're going along, moderate speed, kite's sort of low, pulling you in the direction, and then you start to move the kite a little higher towards 12, but not behind 12. So sort of maybe 1 hour off 12, still in the direction of travel. And then at the same time, you're eyeing up a little pop, just a tiny little something that you can just let the board lift up. So with the board, you're not actually doing a jump, you're just lifting your knee more like this into the wind and just allowing the board to actually just lift up a little bit. And at the same time, you're just going to reach down a little bit and just get a hand on the rail. So once you've got a hand on the rail and the kite's about 1 hour off 12, this is kind of the fun part, where now what you're doing is you're actually using your bar to sheet in and sheet out just very gently as you extend your legs and touch the water. So there's no difference here between barefoot, so just sliding with both feet on the water, or actually walking like a bit of a walk and tapping the water. Other than I find that the barefoot is actually the easiest way to learn it, because the barefoot actually does provide just that little bit of resistance, so it kind of holds you up a little more, meaning you can practice it in lighter wind, you can sort of ride for longer and things like that. So the barefoot might be the better way to actually start if it's the very first time. So now that we're sliding along the water, as we're sliding, the idea is that you're very slowly actually swinging past the kite. So as you're traveling in this direction, you're actually letting the kite move behind your head just very, very slightly. Now, as you do that, eventually you'll start to run out of power because the kite's going backwards, you're still traveling this way, and you'll feel that you're running out of power. At that time, you pop the board back down and step on it. And as the kite's going past your head, as it gets all the way past, you can feel you're out of power, and you actually loop it back around. And at the same time, sort of lean against it. What that will do is it'll actually pull you downwind a little bit, so you just need to direct your weight just downwind a little bit, and then you can continue to tack upwind. Okay, so let's recap. You're going along, direction of travel, moderate speed, look for just a little way to be able to rise your board up, at the same time bring your kite a little higher, so it's about 1 hour off 12. When you spot your little chop, lift your knee up, let the board fly up into your hand, and now you'll be traveling along. Sheet in so you've got the perfect power, and then slide or walk. And as you're going along in the direction, the kite slowly moves past 12, you'll start to feel it's running out of power. Hop on the board and loop it around. Okay, so now I'll just give you some final tips for how I actually learned it, some steps that you can take. I actually was trying this for a really long time, and then finally I saw someone do a really small one, and that sort of clicked for me, and I thought, oh, okay, that's how it's meant to work. So let me just explain what I mean. Originally, and I think everyone can learn this way, just go along as fast as you want really, and just practice on getting that pop. Just practice on just that very gentle lift to get the board into your hand. You sort of want to be like in control of the board, so not right up the nose, somewhere in the middle here with your grip, and then just try and slide. So just use the kite, slide along the water, you know, feel the barefoot, and don't worry about landing it. So that really should be your step one, where you're just getting the board into your hand and sliding along the water. You can try and do that, increase your length of ride, sliding, and then when you slowly start to run out of power, you'll just sink in. It's no problem, go and try it again. I think that's a great first step, just to get the feeling of the slide before you even try and land it. Then to land it, what I found was I couldn't try and ride that slide for as long as I was, because what you'll find is as you get better at it, instead of letting the kite come back past 12 too early, the longer you sort of drive it forward a little bit, that 1 hour off 12 with your hand, like keeping your wrist really locked and driving that kite forward, the longer you can slide for. And it's only as you start to let it go past 12 that you start to slow down and then crank that loop to do the landing. So what I found was, in order to actually land it for the first time, I just had to tap the water. Very, very small little board off, little barefoot. So you'd basically, I'd just grab it in my hand, I'd just go shh, and then I'd land it, right? And you can do that in kind of moderate to light wind. It doesn't have to be super strong wind, which as you get better, the stronger the wind, the easier it is, because that kite is holding you up the whole time. But to land it for the first time, that's really what I did. So I practiced just sliding along the water for as long as I could, getting comfortable with that, getting comfortable with the grab. And then I just decided, okay, I'm just gonna do these tiny little barefoots, just tap the water, loop it around and land it, tap the water, loop it, land, and you'll start to get used to the timing of when you pull that loop, how far behind you it needs to be, because the longer you don't want to crank that loop from 12, otherwise you're going to get sent. So if you're getting really like projected, then you're pulling that loop a little too early. Let that kite go past 12 so it starts to slow you down and feel that it's running out of power before you loop it around. And I think that will work for you as well. So hopefully there's some tips there to get your barefoot going. Like I said, we're going to do another video with some variations. So we'll do the walk on water, we'll do increasing the length of ride, even throwing a back roll into your board off, into your barefoot, sorry, and also landing toe side. So really doing a powered loop out of that trick so you can stomp it toe side and turn it into a transition. So that's what that'll be in part 3. So anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks again, Luke here, and we'll see you in the next one.